welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro Podcast. I'm Ginette Biro, and thank you all for joining in today and hearing the latest update. And I say it like that purposefully. I don't know about you guys, but this weekend has been crazy. And I felt that last weekend. And I thought, yeah, okay, we got through last weekend. Now we're in the movement. But I didn't realize, I'm going to say the benefit of what this movement would bring. And after going through the energies this weekend, I have a lot of clarity in what it was bringing, but it wasn't easy. And I would imagine there's a lot of you out there that had quite a whirlwind weekend. If you weren't stuck in the 3D world, being very, very human with very human tasks, and sometimes that in itself is a gift, and being busy with families or friends, or although that it's kind of tough with COVID, but you know what I mean, keeps us really very much in the human realm. But for those of you that had time to be in the astral or the higher realms or more connected, I would imagine felt a lot of stuff going on. And I absolutely did 1000%. It was actually a really challenging weekend energetically. Physically, everything was fine. Tons to be grateful for, all kinds of things. Energetically, it just was nuts. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to share my experience and the understandings I got from the three guides of the light, because I think it will help a lot of you guys to maybe understand what you experienced or what those around you may have experienced, or just to give you an update on what's going on in the collective. So this past week has really been filled with crazy, heavy, nauseating energy for me and for many people that I've talked to. And we are working through so many challenges, like challenging energies on this planet. And although it's challenging, what happens at the end of every challenge is we truly come out stronger and more powerful every time. And that's something we have to remember, because sometimes it feels like such a grind. And we can apply this to any aspect of life, but in the spiritual sense, in the energetic sense, sometimes it is such a grind. We're just like, what the heck is happening, right? I can't do this anymore is a common one that I hear all the time. And I myself have been like, Spirit, what's up? No more. And this time though, the three guides of the light came through, and I have a ton of notes here to share with you guys, because there was a lot of parts in this message. So it kind of split it up into three aspects. And I'll share more about each. So the themes are, first of all, number one is as above, so below. The energy of the planet and the cosmos are becoming more closely aligned. We will be more aware and connected to space in the coming years. That's an exciting one. Number two, there are old, stagnant, negative energies being squeezed out of Mother Earth and out of humanity. And this is creating physical symptoms of nausea, fatigue, and fuzziness. That also kind of applies to those parallel merging timelines we've talked about. So lots going on there. And number three is that we have choice to transmute these energies. And when we do, we will be stronger, more powerful, and we will grow exponentially. And truly, it always comes back to choice. Choice is one of our greatest gifts. So you will hear me talk about that often, because Spirit talks to me about that often. So coming back to the first point, that as above, so below, the energy of the planet and the cosmos are becoming more closely aligned, and we will be more aware and connected to space in the coming years. And we're starting to see this already. So let me back up and start with a strange cosmic event this week. And for those of you that follow me on the Avalon Spirit Facebook group, I did a post there about the Apophis Asteroid that was passing nearest Earth in its orbit on Friday. And Apophis, the name Apophis comes from an Egyptian god, the god of chaos. And it's a serpent energy. And I have had the experience, as I mentioned in my post on the group, I've had experiences with the Apophis energy when I've been in Egypt before. And it is a whirly, nasty type of energy. It is chaos. It is the embodiment of chaos. And so with this asteroid coming near, it created a pull on Earth's energetic atmosphere. And so what the asteroid did is it seemed to amplify negative energies on the planet, and it was surfacing old negative collective consciousness so that we can continue to move it out of our world. And I asked Spirit why I was feeling the collective energy of this asteroid so strongly, because honestly, you guys, holy smokes, it was intense for me. And they said it was to show me how the energy of Earth is becoming more strongly connected to the cosmos. And so I thought, okay, I'm intrigued. You know, I'm always someone who's willing to experience or endure something if I'm going to learn something of significance out of it. I'm interested. So they piqued my interest. And they showed me how what we're seeing right now, we're seeing space exploration is becoming front and center in the news. It's all over the news. We're hearing more stories every week about space and galactic discoveries of new stars, how planets orbit stars, galaxies within galaxies, and you know, the old concepts of space understandings are changing, and even the rapid expansion in space and the rovers on Mars and all of this stuff is helping us. And it's helping us because it's opening our left brain minds to think beyond just our planet. And that's when I was like, ooh, I like it. And it is. If you think about it, it's helping us to expand our understanding of life, because we're starting to look at life tangibly through videos, through photographs, through this rover again on Mars. I'll use as an example. It is showing tangible life, evidence of life on another planet that has nothing to do with Earth. That is opening our left brain mind of more. And remember, left brain mind is the logical, linear aspect of the mind that already knows what is. It creates its determined belief system often by the age of 12. And then after 12, we're kind of either cementing that belief system or having to undo that belief system often by the time we hit mid-20s and 30s. Anyways, so for too long, basically, Spirit was saying, for too long, humans have been rather narrow-minded in believing we are the most intelligent life forms on our planet and potentially the only intelligence in the universe. Again, this is incredibly arrogant, and it's a myopic view of our world. Perhaps it's helped us feel more in control, but truly, there's a ton of ego, a ton of fear, and a ton of narrow-mindedness in that. And so, as we hear more about these space discoveries, it expands the left brain, which in turn allows the right brain to open so that more consciousness can come in, right? Because remember, left brain, if we give left brain a task or we convinced it that it is safe to open right brain, then right brain has this massive capacity to expand. And also remember, I've said it many times before, left brain has a processing speed of 11 bits per second processing speed, whereas the right brain is 14 billion bits per second. So right brain is where so much of that spiritual openness to concepts, expansion, universal consciousness, ascension happens, but it can't always happen unless left brain allows the door to open. Something to ponder. So whether it be the photos of Mars, the rover, the similarities of Mars to Earth, like the dry riverbeds that they're talking about, the possibility that there was life on Mars while Earth was forming, this creates a trigger effect in our brain of believing there's something more, which is fantastic. And some of us are long past that already, talking, communicating, believing in light beings, and for some, they're just opening the door. But the Mars rover aspect is helping to open that door with something tangible. Again, that's stepping up. So this opens up the conversation of other beings, galaxies, and worlds in their own levels of life, intelligence, and consciousness. It's helping to open the narrow perspective of humans. It's helping to humble the left brain, collective mind, a superiority to the possibility of more existing out there. And that really excites me because this creates a beautiful progression forward of where we will go in consciousness. And when I asked them about that, I'm like, so what does that mean? And one of the things they explained is they're wanting to weave a closer connection between the cosmos and Earth to allow Earth to become a more awakened part of the space collective. And the idea is that as above, so below concept. And I think I mentioned this just a little while back, but the idea that the earth will start to, or the consciousness on the earth, so humans, will start to connect more deeply with planetary cycles, astrological cycles, moon cycles in when they do different things, really working with the way in which we can work with the seasons. We will also begin to more consciously and willingly work with the collective energies, the energies of the planets, of where Earth sits in the greater, huge space, galactic collective, right? So we'll work with the alignments and the timings like they did long time ago. They did. And then that fell from truth because it was no longer valued, because tangible, right brain science ideas kind of took over. And it's not that one is right or the other is wrong. It's about balancing and harmonizing with both or all. So, if we think about it, as above, so below, the value of understanding the cosmos helps us understand this world. When we understand this world more, we better understand the cosmos. It's a cycle. One opens the other, which the other opens the other. It's like a figure eight. It just keeps opening the other when we balance the two. So as above, so below. And also, just another thought to think about in this aspect before I move on is just look at the variety of life, races, and beings on Earth alone. Then consider the variety of life and beings that could exist in other galaxies. There is truly so much more for us to know and to be a part of. There's such a greater weaving of this massive tapestry. Space exploration is allowing our left brains to open up to worlds beyond our worlds, which allows more space for the collective to open up to the understandings that there is so much more and something so much greater. And that is inspiring. That is inspiring for many to know that there's so much more than just this, than the dramas that go on here, than the chaos that goes on here. And that doesn't take away from also the aspects of beauty that is in the experience of being human. But what we're feeling right now is such a pressure cooker of the negatives. So talking about those negatives, if I move on to my second statement or second point, which was there are old stagnant energies, they're negative energies being squeezed out from Mother Earth and out of humanity. And that is creating physical symptoms of nausea, fatigue, and fuzziness. So I would imagine some of you are like, oh yeah, totally feeling that. I am like right there. I'm totally feeling it. So space is not only opening our awareness of the cosmos, but space, the planets, and stars have their own existence and consciousness, just as does Mother Earth. And you guys will recall, I've spoken a lot about Mother Earth as her own consciousness, right? The Mother Earth, Gaia, has an energy of consciousness, just like each human has an energy of consciousness, just like each animal has an energy of consciousness. So does the earth. And just like our energy can impact those around us, right? You walk into a room, you can feel someone's energy. If they're happy, you feel it. If they're ornery, you feel it and you want to get out of there. Just the same, the energy of the cosmos has an effect on us in this world. So the ancients perhaps knew this much more in their study of the stars. Our modern society has lost our connection to nature and the planets, like I said. So then coming back to this Apophis asteroid that we had, this was an example of what cosmic energy can bring. And I could really feel this cosmic energy of anxiety kind of creeping up. It sort of started Thursday for me, and it was really overwhelming. And it was like looking at the deepest wounds of myself and the human collective. Like, it was so heavy. It just yarded me right back into any personal wounding and then collective wounding. Like, I'm talking world history wounding, just all of it. It just was mind-boggling and so heavy and so sad. And I was like, why am I going through this? I choose to not live in this anymore. I've mended where I can mend, and I've healed where I can heal, both personally, and the collective. And I'm like, what is this? And at that point, I knew it wasn't just my energy or just my experience, because sometimes things happen to me that's just for me to understand something. But at that point I was like, there must be something more happening. And so they said Apophis, right? And so I researched it, like I said, and I knew that this asteroid was going to be passing near Earth March 5th at 5:15 p.m. Our time here on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time. And again, like I said, I knew of Apophis. I knew of the great serpent. I had seen the serpent, like I'd posted before. The energy was profound. And finally that afternoon on Friday, I was like, I just can't take this anymore. I need to go lay down. Because sometimes for me, if the energies are just coming on, I just give in and I go and lay down and I just open to whatever has to come through and then fall asleep. And then I can kind of recalibrate and start again. Anyways, I laid down, and within seconds, this giant two-headed serpent is just like hissing at me in a vision clairvoyantly. And I was like, oh, I bet you it is near 5:15. I bet you that's what it is. And I looked at my clock and it was 5:11, right? Until the asteroid's nearest pull, nearest passing on the Earth. And this serpent that I saw was like this anaconda, like black with yellow stripes and a red tongue. And it was aggressive and ornery and hissy and you know, it tried to scare me, and I was like, I'm not interested in being scared, but I'm annoyed by the anxiety I'm feeling from it, right? I don't like the anxiety pull. So I chose to send it love. It disappeared. But the anxiety stayed, and it hovered and waved throughout the next day. And so I asked Spirit, I said, okay, what is the value of the serpent? Like they had mentioned before, as I'd done in that post about this kind of constriction feeling. And they said it was putting a squeeze on the planet. And they showed me a pasta maker. They use all kinds of signs and symbols for me. They showed me a pasta maker. And you know when you're feeding the dough through to make the really flat noodles, that's a tight squeeze, right? And they showed me that it was like going through this pasta maker and squeezing out the pasta. And it was to squeeze out this negative, stagnant energy in the collective so that it can dry and form cleanly. I was like, okay, so it was squeezing out what needed to be surfaced and mended. And it was going to be uncomfortable, as squeezing is, but you come out to a healing place after. And I was like, okay, I can get on board with that. And then they showed me that our bodies may be feeling like, again, metaphorically, like a wet cloth being wrung out. Because after the pasta thing, I was like, okay, I get it. And then, you know, a little while later, it all started coming back again. And I thought, gosh, what is this again? And this is when it felt like a wet cloth, like a sopping wet cloth being wrung out. And it would be uncomfortable, but it would be worth it as you would dry and heal faster, right? Because sometimes to heal stuff, we have to get it wet and, in a sense, wash it. And I felt the energy keep coming and coming. And I knew the anxiety, nausea, dizziness that I was feeling wasn't mine. And it was this collective yuck coming out. And so I was willing to, you know, do the things to let it go. But let me tell you, it wasn't fun. And it wasn't my favorite thing. And I journaled plenty of pages saying, I'm not in for this. This is no Zen guru type thing. This really sucked. I'm going to put it very bluntly. But I was able to understand what was happening in the collective energies from the experience. So in the wringing out of anything heavy that was the stagnant energy that was robbing people of energy to move forward, there was energies and labels such as shame, judgment, guilt, arrogance, condemnation of self and others. I was feeling all of that coming out in this heaviness, and I was becoming aware of the suffering on the planet and how it is time for it to be wrung out. And that was the hardest part. It just was this point of like, what is the point? And as much as I am so devoted to this earthly journey, I had a moment where I was talking to Spirit and I said, guys, like I was so determined to come back when I was on the other side in my near-death experience. I was like, when they asked, do you want to come back? I was like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm coming back. I was excited. I was like, yes, I'm in. Like, put me back in, coach. It was totally that. And then I was thinking, I'm like, what is the point if there's this much suffering on the planet? And like, why do we forget? And why is it so hard to grow and ascend? And why is there so much judgment on it? And why do people like to stick to the negative? And why do people want the drama? And, and so I had all those questions, and this was some of the stuff that was being wrung out. It has to surface. We have to see it in order to let it go. And so Spirit had said, the reason for this is when we are aware of the darkness and issues, we can choose differently. And again, there's that key word, choice. You will always hear me talk about choice. Everything is choice. The more awareness you have, the more consciousness you have, the more choice you have. You can choose to change it. You can't always choose to change or control the external environments of what's happening to you, because sometimes those aspects are out of your control. But you always get to choose what you're going to do as a result and how you want to alter your course based on what is happening. Choice. And so then that leads me to my third point, or the third point from Spirit, is that we have choice to transmute these energies. And when we do, we will be stronger, more powerful, and we will grow exponentially. And so if I go back to my story, so the Friday night was crazy, and Saturday I was feeling it. And so finally later that evening on Saturday, I laid down to go to bed, and I had all these kinds of demonic faces and scary things that are appearing in my vision. And I don't say that to instill a fear or a morbid type of worry. It was just that whatever these energies were, they were trying their hardest to make me afraid, to be in this fear energy. And unfortunately, demonic faces and things like that, that doesn't scare me anymore. I don't like the anxiety. But those images, I'm just like, no, I'm not interested. And so I refused to be scared. And I said, I know I'm light. I'm not into this. I'm not entertaining this. I am the light. This is enough. And it was my light from my heart, right? And I just sent it love. And then it was amazing because as I did, those images disintegrated and my consciousness blew open into the cosmos, which I love. It's fantastic. And my mind kind of exploded into this hurling through space and star systems faster than the speed of light. It was beautiful. And I saw a wolf and a bear, and the wolf represented, it was kind of all visuals of stars. Like it was a wolf face, but it was as if it was made up of stars, and same with the bear. And so they reminded me of constellations, and the dog star is from Sirius, right? Sirius star system, which is just such a place of love for me, and I'll explain more of that if you join the cosmic consciousness circle, because we're going to be talking all about that. Anyways, I saw that, and then the star of the bear one is represented by Ursa Major, which is the Big Dipper. And that's about like filling your cup with goodness. And so I could see these two aspects of the cosmos supporting me as guardian energies. And so, the Big Dipper, Ursa Major, the bear, was just filling my cup with love. And the wolf is such a guardian animal for me. And it made so much sense. Anyways, I say all of that because as I felt myself deep in the cosmos, I could get the understanding of what was really happening to the planet. The energies, the heaviness, the ringing out. It showed me that all of what we are experiencing is bringing awareness. We will be, how there will be more groups and people and collectives working with planetary alignments to be in harmony with the greater cycles, to be more aware of it. It's working in flow, and we talk about flow all the time, right? There is a flow both in your personal life, in your family life, in the collective harmony of your community. And it just goes up and up and up and up and up to the as above, so below. When you work in the flow of the cosmic harmony energy, that's when you're working in higher consciousness. So then I was like, okay, so let's get a whole, condensed understanding of this. And as I came back to Earth, Spirit held out this beautiful kind of luxurious white towel. And there's this beautiful being, this Syrian type being, and standing there, and the three guides of the light were there. And the Syrian being was kind of like this custodian for me, handing me this beautiful, luxurious towel, this white, cozy, giant towel. And the reason why is I realized I was in water and I was in this pool. And they were extending this message and this kindness in the understanding. And they said they wanted me to experience what was happening, to truly understand it, rather than just have it come through a message. I had to be willing to jump in and swim in the deep end, even when I didn't know how deep or how cold it was and how long I had to stay in. And they were really grateful for that. And I would imagine many of you also jumped in to that same pool, and you were feeling these things, and you were doing your best to ground and transmute and send love and have peaceful thoughts and all of this, but it was a lot. And I would imagine a lot of you had those moments of like, oh my gosh, no more, I can't, I'm out, no more. And so it's like they were extending this beautiful towel to come out of the pool, get warmed up and dry off to all of us that were in there. And they said they were really grateful. And they also said they realize how hard some of these experiences can be. And they said that because of this and the acknowledgement, they have an understanding of what we're enduring as humans on this planet, especially those that are awakened. And so there was a lot of heartfelt exchange of energy for that. There was just this beautiful, like, I hear you, I understand you from their perspective, which was nice to hear, because sometimes it's like what's going on, you know? And so this acknowledgement was really beautiful, and I was grateful for that. And so really it's an important thing to note that I share these experiences not because I just simply sit in a meditative state and observe them happening and, you know, I don't get my feet wet. I get thrown right in the pool. I get thrown off the waterfall. I get thrown out of the plane or into the cosmos or whatnot. And I'm not complaining by saying that. This is not a complaint. It's a matter of saying that it comes as a human understanding from the human experience. So by me experiencing it and being able to break it down into words can help trigger understanding in those that hear the words and that it resonates with, to understand their journey and what's happening to them, because understanding brings choice and choice brings ascension. You see how it all works around it. So when they're showing me how to transcend something and make a conscious choice, it helps to raise the awareness. And that's why I share it with you guys. And again, that's what my deal was when I was on the other side. I said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to be a voice and I'm going to share it. And, you know, I bet they kind of stuck a sticker on my back saying, okay, that means you're going to experience all of it too. I laugh about that. But truly, being human isn't easy. Sometimes it is glorious, and sometimes it is the most beautiful thing because it's raw and it's right in the thick of it, right? Human life has deep emotions and deep histories, and there's a lot of depth to it, which makes for a beautiful experience of light and also an equal experience of dark, which is not always easy, but is part of being human. And we come into this planet without remembering that. And there are some that have had the experience to cross over or in meditation or whatnot and come back and talk about the remembering to inspire it in others. But it's not easy, but it's worth it. And this is all happening to increase our awareness now on this planet, because we don't want to be going backwards, and we're not going backwards. And so this message for you is the same for anyone that also chooses to jump in the pool and stretch beyond what they're comfortable with. Spirit will also always have a safety net for you to fall into. There'll always be somebody when we finally look up, standing at the edge of the pool, holding a beautiful white towel, saying, you can come out now, I got it. It's nice and warm for you. Thanks for jumping in the pool. And none of these experiences are punishment. They're not ever for nothing. They're not ever for nothing. They always lead to growth and awareness. And one of the most beautiful byproducts is compassion. Compassion for self and compassion for others, because things don't change unless we have compassion. We can't change things in anger. We can't always be angry. It has to change in compassion, in understanding, and then choice. It is only from a state of compassion that we can shift the dynamic of things on our planet. Compassion for our friends and compassion for our foes is something they were very specific about, because each person's story is unique to what brought them there and the journey that brings as a result. None are better than the other. They bring learning, They bring this message so that people can feel that they are truly a part of something so much greater. They're part of this great tapestry. Like I said, we are not just the singular tapestry. We're not just the Earth Tapestry Collective, but we are the cosmic collective, part of the greater tapestry. And we are allowed access to this knowledge and understanding now because enough people are opening up their right brain to receive it. That's exciting. So I feel like I was forced into this crazy field training all week, literally. And there's times where I was like, I don't know if I can survive. Like I was, in like Marine or Navy SEAL training where they have the bell. I was like looking for the bell. I'm like, where's the bell? Where can I ring the bell? And then just, relax. But I made it through. And every time I go through this, I feel like my access to the other side and consciousness and the universe grows. And I'm grateful always. So, to recap, here's what you need to know. Number 1, notice what is changing on the planet and the collective and with you. There's tangible evidence things are changing, and it will have an effect on us. If you are feeling crazy energies, know that it may not be you, it may be the shifting and changing on the planet. Always check, is this mine or is this not? And it is a gift taking us to higher consciousness, so welcome the energy. Place the boundaries where you need, but welcome it. It's a sign the world is changing, humanity is changing, and you are changing. Number 2, work with the energy. There are huge blasts of higher consciousness energy coming into our planet, and it can be hard on the human body, truly. You may even feel like you're throwing up at times out of nowhere. Don't block it or let it be stagnant. Stagnant energy is what creates disease, disharmony. Move it through your body, speak it through your body, get it out of your body, write it out. Acknowledge it, express it, experience it. Go for a walk in the forest. The forest is a great grounding tool. Meditate, then choose to transmute it. What can you do with this experience? Know that you have the power to feel this and then to let it go. You hold that power always. And number 3, when you do allow, accept, and choose to deal with the changes and negative energies in the air, you will be better as a result, and you will come out even stronger. Choose to love it and transmute it. In doing so, you will grow your personal energy, strength, and power exponentially. Exponentially. They were specific about that word, exponentially. Change is often uncomfortable, like the wringing out of the cloth, but after you will be clear and released. You are stronger and more powerful than you know. You truly are. So, what a whirlwind of a message to start your Monday, but if you felt any of the energies, I can imagine this will be a type info to hear. Absolutely. There is so much more to come on the planet, so much more change, but all can be moved through with consciousness. So thank you again for listening, everybody. If you're interested in more content, please do join us on avalonspirit.com. We've got a Lightworker mentorship circle. We have the Spirit Club, and we have the Cosmic Consciousness Circle, different avenues to gain insights and information, plus the different personal journey guides as well that can help you on your path. So it's a great site to explore. I will say so myself. Also, if you want to chit chat back and forth with like-minded people, join the Avalon Spirit group on Facebook. It's a great place to be. So thank you guys again. Please do share, like, and subscribe. And wishing you guys just a wonderful, peaceful, less crazy week this week.